What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fireside Giants. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, and today, diving into the film on Giants rookie third-round pick Darius Alexander. Now, a lot of high expectations for him. He was viewed as a steal in the third round for the Giants, but he really hasn't made an impact so far through the first 2 weeks of the preseason. And I want to go ahead and break it down and show you guys what I've taken away from the film and why I think his impact really hasn't been there. So I got about a minute of film here that I cut up from Nick Filato. Posted all of these clips on Twitter, so shout out and thank you to Nick for posting these. But let's dive into this first play and see what we can take away. And the first thing that I notice is how he allows this offensive lineman to take control. So if you see here, this is a really good freeze frame to get a look at it. This offensive lineman has both hands on the chest of Darius Alexander. He's got complete control. When an offensive lineman gets both hands on a pass rusher's chest, he is in control. I can now move you. This is something I learned from TBR training. A coach who used to coach Justin Tuck and OCU Manura, he said that was the number one thing that he taught them. Get control of their chest, and you will move them and control them and move wherever, put them wherever you want them. And that's what I see here. This offensive lineman has complete control of Darius Alexander, and that's really just a hands thing. And you see here, he tries to swipe. He tries to get those hands off. Doesn't really seem to have the strength. This is a great rep from the offensive lineman. Obviously, towards the tail end of it, Darius Alexander does start to get in there for a pressure, but it's a little bit too little too late. He's kind of pushed off the spot, and again, just doesn't get – the offensive lineman just gets control of him. And one of the reasons why I think this is the case is pad height. I think he's a little bit high coming up here. If you see this, he doesn't really have that low leverage. You always hear the phrase a low man wins. That's very much the case on defensive linemen. If you are the low man, you can get that leverage on these offensive linemen. High pad height here exposes his chest and allows this offensive lineman to get control of it and keep him away from the quarterback. But now going over to this next rep. This is going to be a rep in the run game. And also I want you to notice where he aligns on each play. So this time he's between the guard and the tackle. Again, that's where he was on the last rep too. But you'll see he's got some other plays here with different alignments. So this is going to be a run play. And what I took away from this one is that the Jets decided to run after Darius Alexander on this one. They go right into his lane. And they just combo block him here. The guard and the tackle running a little bit of duo. They're both going to block him. And again, watch as he comes up out of his stance. And the second guy really just moves him with will. I mean, he got thrown 3 yards to the side with ease. His anchor just doesn't seem to be there. It's going to show up again on this film, and you're going to see it. But there just doesn't seem to be a strong anchor right now from Darius Alexander. Obviously, he played at Toledo, and the NFL is new to him, and he's a rookie, which is why I'm going to stress patience for you guys with all of these rookies, especially the third rounder coming out of Toledo and Darius Alexander. I just don't think he has that NFL power and strength yet, and that's what you saw on this rep. This rep, though, is a win. This is a positive, and the number one thing that I want to highlight before this rep actually begins is the alignment. This time, the Giants have 4 down linemen, but they have Darius Alexander lined up over the center. He's playing more of a nose tackle role here rather than a defensive end role like he was on these last 2 plays. So if I rewind here, he's playing more of that kind of 3-tech position between the guard and the tackle rather than that 0, which on this rep you can see DJ Davidson is playing that nose tackle role. But on this next rep, you see he plays some nose tackle. And he actually does a great job here just kind of staying in front of the rushing lane and holding his ground and making sure that this running back doesn't have anywhere to go. This looks natural to me. This looks like something that's way more comfortable for him. That's one of my big takeaways on his film. He just looks more comfortable at that nose tackle spot. And for Giants fans, you all know Dexter Lawrence is the best nose tackle in football. There's no supplanting him from that spot. There's no taking him out of that position. He's going to be the Giants starting nose tackle throughout the season. And so, unfortunately, if you're a defensive tackle on the Giants and you're only comfortable at nose tackle, you're not going to see the field a lot. So for Darius Alexander, the main area of focus, I think, is developing him in these other alignments, that 3-tech, that 5-tech, and moving out to the edge. That's what the Giants are going to need to do to develop him in order to get him on the field. But again, if you just watch here, he's able to get his hands. Look, his hand is right on the chest. That right hand is on the chest of this offensive lineman in the center, and he's able to take a hold of him and move himself into the gap there and force the running back for a small gain of about a yard or 2. So that was a really good rep. But now on this one, back into that other alignment. And this is a rep that I think, once again, you're seeing a lack of NFL power and strength. He pretty much just gets shoved. This looks like almost a tight end coming out of his stance and then getting thrown to the side by a linebacker. That's what this reminds me of. I think, again, he's very vertical. His pad height is high. If you look, like I said, a low man wins. Look at the difference in pad height between where the shoulder pads are on these two players. And the low man has that leverage. So for me, I really think we're seeing a couple of things come up consistently for Darius Alexander. But what I'll say positively, these are very coachable things. These are things that can easily be fixed with a little training and a little good coaching. And luckily, the Giants have Andre Patterson, one of the best defensive line coaches in the league. But yes, high pad height, and then he just gets shoved. I think it's important to remember this is a player who missed the spring due to an injury. He's a little bit behind, so he's likely a little bit out of shape as well and doesn't have his power and strength yet. Maybe not up to the weight that he wants to be at. And so I think it shows up on that rep. Once again here, same alignment. Giants like him in this alignment, although I don't know if I do. And same story where he doesn't gain any ground on this offensive guard. He doesn't have any chance of winning this rep. His hands are late. I think that's really the main thing that keeps popping up over and over again here. I don't think his hands are getting on to the offensive lineman quickly enough. He's not engaging quickly enough. Let's take a look at some of these other pass rushers as well here, if you watch the rep. If you look at how quickly number 57 got his hands, that's going to be the edge rusher over on the left side of the screen. How quickly 57 immediately stabs with that right hand, if you see that. So he immediately, as soon as he gets in range, stabs with that right hand and engages with the blocker. Everybody is touching an offensive lineman right now except for Darius Alexander. So it's really just a matter of not being quick enough, not getting to the offensive lineman quickly enough to win the rep, and then allowing the offensive lineman to attack you. You have to attack as a defensive lineman. You cannot wait. You got to be out of your stance. Boom, let me put my hands on you and take control of you. That's what the offensive linemen are doing to Darius Alexander. He's just not quick enough here. So I think that's one of the things that we've seen several times. And I'm also going to highlight this. Getting out of his stance, he's super late. I mean, look, the whole play is already moving. You've got all three of these defensive linemen for the Giants have already started to leave their stance, and he's still in that three-point stance. He's not even ready to go. He's late. I don't know if he's tired, if he's really out of shape or what it is, but yeah, he's late coming out of his stance there. He's late getting onto this offensive lineman. And again, the offensive lineman is able to take control. His hands are too wide. If you see his left hand here on this freeze frame is on the outside shoulder of the offensive lineman. It's supposed to be on the numbers, on the chest. Grab him and take control. And he doesn't do that. So again, I just think, and I mean, the rest of this rep is like kind of demoralizing if you're a defensive lineman because you're trying so hard, you're throwing so many hand moves out there, but I mean, swim moves, just not able to get through. Offensive lineman had complete control of him, but again, it's because he grabbed his chest. Darius Alexander wasn't fast enough to get his hands on the offensive lineman's chest. And I think another thing that keeps popping up here, a lack of a plan when pass rushing and a lack of pass rushing moves with his hands. He doesn't have hand fighting down yet. And then this next rep, once again, highlighting the stance and not getting out of it fast enough. Look at how the whole play has begun. Everybody is ready to go on the offensive line. Everybody's come out of their stance and they're getting ready. You've got this pass rusher who's already gone. This pass rusher's gone. DJ Davidson's already engaging his block. Who's still in a three-point stance is Darius Alexander. He's not getting out of his stance fast enough. I don't even think he's seeing the ball get snapped on time like the rest of these guys. I don't know if he's just tired. I don't know if he's just gassed, what it is, but he's just not even involving himself in the play early enough to make an impact. He's late, consistently late, and it is a little bit of a problem. So let's see the rest of this rep. I actually think the rest of this rep is quite good, though. I think if you get out of your stance sooner, you might be able to make an impact here because if you look, he stabs quite well. That left hand comes right into the inside and gets onto the chest of this offensive guard. This is a good rep, and I think he has a little bit of power to drive back the offensive guard a little bit. You know, I think the guard does a good job anchoring, but for a second there, the guard does have to get both hands. I mean, look, if you freeze frame that looks awesome. That looks like he is about to demoralize that offensive lineman. Doesn't come to fruition, but again, I think there was a good rep in there, but he's so late coming out of his stance that he's not able to make an impact. All right, next rep here. This is a good rep. This is a really good rep. This is a win. Let's see. All right, so ball is snapped. He's still late coming out of his stance. That's not fine, but, watch as this offensive lineman, look at how wide the offensive lineman's hands are, and Darius Alexander sees that and says, okay, let me stab you in the chest. So he does that. He engages that way, gets control, and then if you see the overlap on the arms, his arm on top, so now he's able to chop it down and swim through. This is a great pass rushing rep here from Darius Alexander. This looks like he had a plan, right? On this rep, it looks like he did have a plan. He's able to get control, pull him to the side, and swim underneath. So, all right, here's the last rep. Now on the other side of the line, same alignment, though, between the tackle and the guard. And I just want to highlight this one out of effort. There's really not a ton to take away from this rep, but this is more just the run goes the other way, yes, but there's an opportunity here, right here. I'm going to freeze frame it right here, where you're a third-round pick, you're a rookie, you're trying to earn your spot, you're trying to earn your reps. Dive on this running back. Get in the play. Don't be afraid of contact again, and this is why I think we need to be patient with Darius Alexander, because I think he's still coming back from that injury. Because this is a low motor play, and this is a play that looks like somebody who hasn't had enough reps and enough contact throughout the spring and summer. Somebody who's shying away from contact just a little bit because he's not in full football shape yet. That's my takeaway on it. And if you guys disagree, and if you see anything different than what I saw in the comments below, I'd love to hear your perspective on it. But on this rep in particular, get in the play. Get in the play. Dive in there and hit somebody. This is football. I think this is a really good rep by number 99 for the Giants. Let's take a look at that and just see, a difference between Alexander and number 99 here, who's lined up as the nose tackle on this play. So let's see what he's able to do. Fires out of his stance quickly, immediately gets his hands on the inside, right on the chest of this offensive lineman, driving him back, taking control, and now disengaging on the block and making the tackle. So I think you can see, compare and contrast there, number 99 versus number 91. And you could see based on the other reps that we saw, just not good enough from Darius Alexander in this game. But hey, guys, I'm not panicking, and I don't think you should either. The idea of this video was to find out what was wrong with Darius Alexander, and I think we've learned a lot, and we've seen a lot of areas to improve upon. But I don't think any of these are insurmountable issues. I think all of these are coachable, teachable, and trainable. And I do think that there's a really good player in there for Darius Alexander. It just is going to take a little bit of time to unlock it. Just got to get out of your stance a little bit faster. Definitely need to have a better motor than what we saw in this play. Get involved there and make a hit. You're a 300-pound defensive lineman. I want to see you smack into somebody. But yeah, there's just some coachable things that he's got on his film that need to be tightened up. But if he does that, I think we'll start to see a better player. And third-round pick, be patient. I don't expect him to make a massive impact as a rookie, but maybe by year 2, he still has the tools and traits to be a very solid player for the New York Giants. But guys, let me know what you think down below. What are your thoughts on Darius Alexander from this film? Let me know if you're enjoying these film breakdowns. Thanks for all the support on the last one, the Marcus Bow one. Got a bunch of views. Really did appreciate the very nice comments that you left for me on that one. And so, guys, really, really do appreciate all the support on these film breakdowns. Keeping consistent with them, going to keep them coming. And we got a game tonight, Thursday night versus the Patriots. So expect some more film breakdowns, taking away things from that game as well. But until then, I'll catch you on the next one. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you on the next episode. Have a good one, and let's go New York Giants.